Imagine waking up to an orange sky, ash falling like snow, and the distant roar of flames devouring everything in their path. For millions of Californians, this nightmare has become an annual reality. The Golden State is burning, again. In January 2025, the Palisades and Eaton fire scorched 37,000 acres, becoming the second and third most destructive wildfires in California history, only behind the devastating 2018 Camp Fire. Why is California always burning? What forces, natural and human, have created this new normal? And what can places like Greece, Australia, and Portugal teach us about our fiery future? To understand why California burns, we must first understand that fire belongs here. It always has. Long before humans arrived, lightning strikes ignited the landscape. The state's Mediterranean climate, wet winters and bone-dry summers, created perfect conditions for seasonal burning. Many California plants evolved not just to survive fire, but to require it. Take the giant sequoia. These ancient behemoths depend on fire to reproduce. Their cones remain sealed with resin until the heat of a wildfire releases their seeds onto freshly cleared, nutrient-rich soil. Many California ecosystems are not just fire-adapted, they're fire-dependent. Historical records and tree ring studies show that before European settlement, much of California experienced frequent low-intensity fires every 5 to 15 years. These fires cleared undergrowth, recycled nutrients, and maintained a healthy, diverse ecosystem. For thousands of years, California's indigenous peoples understood fire's ecological role. Rather than fighting it, they worked with it. However, once European settlers arrived, the philosophy shifted dramatically. Fire was no longer seen as a tool, but as a threat. The state began to suppress wildfires as quickly as possible, believing that all fire was destructive. While this approach may have seemed sensible at the time, it laid the groundwork for disaster. Decades of fire suppression allowed dry brush and dead trees to accumulate, turning vast swaths of California's forests into tinderboxes just waiting for a spark. Without regular fire, forests and shrublands grew increasingly dense. The natural fire cycle was broken. The numbers tell the story. In the Sierra Nevada, historical records suggest about 30 to 40 trees per acre in pre-settlement times. Today, some areas contain 300 to 400 trees per acre, a tenfold increase. What was once an open park-like forest became thickets of smaller trees competing for water and nutrients, weakening the entire system. This fire deficit created an ecological debt, and nature always collects its debts with interest. But it's not just nature that's to blame. Humans play a significant role in California's fire crisis. In fact, the vast majority of wildfires in the state are started by human activity, whether through negligence, accidents, or malfunctioning infrastructure. One of the most infamous examples involves Pacific Gas and Electric, the state's largest utility provider. Faulty PG&E equipment has been linked to several major wildfires, including the Camp Fire of 2018, which destroyed the town of Paradise and killed 85 people. PG&E eventually pleaded guilty to 84 counts of involuntary manslaughter and filed for bankruptcy. Other fires have been sparked by things as mundane as a car pulling over on dry grass, a discarded cigarette, or even a gender reveal party gone wrong. While lightning does occasionally start fires in remote areas, it's human activity that initiates the majority of these disasters. Climate change has further exacerbated the problem. California has always experienced fire seasons, but in recent decades, those seasons have grown longer and more intense. Average temperatures in the state have risen by about 2.5 degrees Fahrenheit since 1970. Warmer air holds more moisture, which means that the atmosphere draws more water out of plants and soil, leaving the landscape even drier. At the same time, snowpacks in the Sierra Nevada melt earlier in the spring, reducing the amount of water available during the critical dry months. The result is a prolonged fire season that now stretches from late spring well into the fall, and in some years, even into winter. In 2020, California saw 5 of the 6 largest wildfires in its recorded history, all in the same year. Climate change has also intensified California's boom and bust precipitation pattern. Wetter winters promote vegetative growth, creating more potential fuel. Then hotter, drier summers and falls transform that vegetation into tinder. The most dangerous fire conditions often come during atmospheric rivers of bone-dry downslope winds, known as Santa Ana winds in Southern California and Diablo winds in the north. These hot, desiccating winds can exceed hurricane force, rapidly spreading any fire that starts. It's easy to view California as a unique case, but it's far from alone. Other parts of the world are facing similar devastating fire seasons, driven by many of the same factors. Take Greece, for example. The Mediterranean nation experiences hot, dry summers and has also struggled with poor forest management practices. In the summer of 2021, Greece was engulfed in flames as multiple wildfires broke out across the country. The island of Evia was particularly hard hit, with thousands of residents forced to evacuate by sea as fires tore through towns and forests. The causes mirrored those in California, a buildup of dry vegetation, extreme heat, and human activity. Like California, Greece has a complex relationship with fire. Traditional rural practices included controlled burning to manage landscapes. As urbanization increased and rural populations declined, these practices disappeared, allowing fuels to accumulate. Portugal faced similar challenges in 2017 when wildfires killed 66 people in a single night. Australia's 2019 to 2020 Black Summer saw over 46 million acres burned, an area larger than the entire state of Washington. One of the most controversial aspects of California's wildfire crisis is how and where people build their homes. The state has experienced massive population growth over the last century, and with that has come urban sprawl into what experts call the wildland-urban interface, the zone where residential development meets undeveloped, fire-prone land. This expansion increases the number of people and structures at risk when a wildfire breaks out, and it also complicates firefighting efforts. The solutions start with accepting fire's ecological role. Prescribed burning, the careful, controlled application of fire under specific conditions, is being reintroduced across the state. Forest management is changing too, but the scale of the problem is immense. California has over 33 million acres of forest and 15 to 20 million acres of shrubland. Treatment costs can exceed $1,000 per acre. Technology offers promising solutions too. Advanced early detection systems using satellites, sensors, and artificial intelligence can spot fires when they're small and more easily contained. Improved weather forecasting can better predict dangerous fire conditions and allow for proactive resource deployment. But perhaps the most fundamental solution involves rethinking our relationship with these landscapes. As California faces another year of potential devastation, the question isn't just how to put out the next fire, but how to rebuild a more resilient relationship with landscapes that have always burned and will continue to burn. The future of the Golden State and fire-prone regions worldwide depend on finding that balance. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.